Hello, I'm here to tell you a little bit about a website called myON. Thanks to Itasca Community Education, students have access to this fabulous website all summer. myON gives students access to tons of books and news articles for all interests. If you are interested in having your child access myON for reading, you can watch this video to see how. The first thing you'll do is go to ISD318.org. Under Quick Links, you can click Summer Reading Challenge. That'll bring you to the page about our summer reading program. And if you haven't heard about it yet, we are challenging students to read for at least 20 to 30 minutes each day over the summer. Doing so will greatly impact their skills and how much of what they learned this past school year will be retained over summer break. To kind of encourage them to have that goal, we have created summer reading logs. So if you look over here, there's a K2 summer reading log. You can click this and print it out for your child. For every 20 minutes that they read or are read to, they can color in a popsicle. At the end of the summer or when we go back to school, if all the popsicles are colored in, they can turn this log in to their school office or the Itasca Community Education office, which that address is at the top there. When they do so, they will receive a prize bag full of goodies for all their hard work that they did over the summer. If you have an older child, the next link down is a different reading log that's a better fit for them. So you can see it's the same idea, but it has a little more specific things for them to fill out. They can record the date, the book or chapter title that they read, how many minutes they read for, and then they can rate what they read. If they were really into it and loved it, they can give it 5 stars. If it wasn't so great and they're going to pick a different book next time, maybe 1 or 2 stars, and just to kind of get them thinking about what they read a little more and how they felt about it. So these are great tools to encourage your child to be reading over the summer. You can hang it on the fridge or put it somewhere safe so that when they see it, they remember, oh yeah, I need to get my 20 to 30 minutes of reading in today. So it's just a great tool to encourage that. If you don't have a printer at home, I am happy to mail you a log. So if you look on the website page here, there is an email, jdgiuseppe@isd318.org. If you send me an email with your name, address, and which reading log you would like, I will get that mailed out right away for you. The books they record on their reading logs can be books that you have at home, magazines, newspaper articles, books from the library, or time spent on myON, which is what I'm going to tell you about next. myON is a website that gives students access to tons of online books and articles. So if you scroll down here, you'll see the information about myON. Thanks to Itasca Community Education, students have a username, myON, and a password, books, BOOKS. They can click the link here, and it'll bring them to the myON website. They can type in myON for the username, books for the password, and click sign in. Maybe you want to bookmark this on your device at home so that they can access it easily or however it works for your family. But once they get here, they'll see the home page. Now, if they see a book right away that they're interested in, they can hover over it and click read. If you want to personalize it a little bit more, you can click the search button, and there's different criteria they can select. So maybe you want to select the grade level for your child. You can select their grade level. There's a search bar. So if they're looking for something specific, maybe your child's really into unicorns, they can type in unicorn and search, and it'll show them all the books that are on here for 3rd grade that have to do with unicorns. Maybe they don't know exactly what they're looking for. My favorite feature on myON is the browse button here. What the browse button does is it breaks all their books down into categories. So if your child is very into sports, they can look through the different categories and find the one that says sports and vehicles. Then they can click sports and scroll down to find a book that interests them. Once they find one, all they're going to do is hover over it and press read. They can click start the book. And if they are going to read it themselves, all they have to do is click through as they're reading. They can click the arrow when they're ready to turn the page. The great thing about myON, though, is that it'll read it to them. So when they click on a book, if they're not going to read it to themselves, they can click play and it'll read it to them.
Nice hit. You Can Play Baseball by Nick Falcall, illustrated by Bill Dixon.
And when they're ready for the next page, they just click the arrow.
Baseball is played by millions of children all across the world. It is so popular, it is called America's favorite pastime.
And they can pause it at any time. A great feature of myON is that it highlights not only the sentence that they are on, but also the specific word. So you noticed as it was reading, the sentence it was on was a darker black than the rest of the words, and the specific word they were on was orange. This is great for your child to track the words being read. So even though they're just listening to it being read, they are also tracking with their eyes as the words are being read. So that's great for their reading skills. There's a settings section over here where you can decrease or increase the speed, and you can kind of play with the features over here. If you don't want it highlighting the sentences and words, you can decide on that. And if you want the buttons in a different place, the settings give you options for that. The other feature I love on here is the dictionary feature. So if your child hears a word that they don't know what it is, they can hit the dictionary button, and then maybe they just heard the word pastime and aren't sure what that means. They can copy it from the page into the search bar and click search. It tells them it's a noun, it gives them the definition, and even gives them the pronunciation.
Pastime.
So that's a fun feature, and kids often have fun with dictionary apps and things like that. So usually they are interested in searching for words on there. When they're ready to keep listening, they would just hit play.
Teams try to score runs by...
And it keeps going. They can then click the arrow when they're ready for the next page. If they want it read to them, they would hit play. If they're going to read it themselves, they can go ahead and do so. When they get to the end, it gives you some information. So I'm going to skip ahead here. And as you can see, I skipped pages, and it tells you that. So it says pages read. We read 64% of the book. And it also tells you the time spent on the book, 2 minutes and 38 seconds. So if you're having your child do something on here and you want to see how they're doing, you can ask them to show you this end page. If they didn't skip anything and they read the whole thing, it'll pop up right here, finished. And they can click that finished button and it'll record that they finished the book. Some books even have little quizzes at the end that they can take to see how much of it they were understanding, which is a fun feature as well. When they are done with a book, they can either click that finished button if it pops up, or click exit and scroll for another sports book. If they want to look for a book in a different category, they would hit browse books by category, find a different category they're interested in. Maybe they see dinosaurs and are really interested in that. A feature I love for parents or teachers is when you hover over a book, instead of clicking read, you can click info, and it gives you a little information about the book. You know, it tells you that it's 32 pages, takes 8 minutes if they listen to it, and it gives you a recommended grade level. So this book is recommended for grade levels 3 through 5. So if you have a kindergartner, this probably isn't going to be a good fit book for them to read to themselves. However, they could listen to it being read. So it just gives you a little information if you're helping them select books on here. This is the library section of myON. If you are interested in the other section, you can go up here. We're in the library section where it gives them all those great books to read. There's also a news section that you can go to. myON has news articles for kids updated every day. So here are today's news articles. If none of those are things they are interested in, they can click back and look at different days. So maybe your child is really into space. They can click this article, the biggest comet ever. And they can scroll down to read it. As you can see, there's different language options. They can make the font bigger or smaller. And if they want it read to them, they can click this microphone.
The biggest comet ever? Astronomers spot what could be the largest comet discovered. Comets are snowballs in space. They're frozen balls of rock.
There are also some fun features over on the side here. If they click this, it'll bring them to a map telling them about different things that are happening around the world. If they click the video feature, there's usually a video that has to do with the article topic. If they click the photo icon here, it brings them through a slideshow of pictures with captions that are also related to the article topic. The last great feature about the news section is when they read an article about something they're interested in, when they get to the end, it gives them books related to the topic. So if they selected this comet article because they're interested in space, when they get done, it encourages them to read even more by recommending books from the library section that have to do with this topic. So if they just read a book about comets, maybe they want to read this book about space leftovers, and they can click read, and it brings them right to that book. So this is great for encouraging them to keep going and keep digging for more in their interest areas. So I really like that feature on here. So there are two different sections in myON. There's the library section and the news section. Both are great. When your child is on myON, just remind them when they're done to record their time on a reading log, because they are either reading on here or listening to books being read to them. So it's great for when you're busy and you need them to, stay busy for a little bit, or if you're out of books at home that they're interested in, they can find some great ones on here. If you have any questions about myON, you can either contact the Itasca Community Education Office or email that same email that we talked about with the reading logs, and we'd be happy to help. I hope this was helpful, and enjoy myON. Thanks for watching.